been to a committee hearing in this building before? Okay. Roughly what we thought, about 50% have not ever been in a committee hearing. So we wanted to have kind of a training session on a committee hearing because, as you know, the philosophy of MRTA is to kill bad legislation in committee. And as you know, so many people have complained because we have our legislative day in February. Why don't we have it in April when the weather's nicer? Well, it's because it's too late. Committees meet in February. That's when you got to do your work. That's when we got to show our strength. And besides that, you don't want to be here in April with 10,000 fourth graders in the hallway. So we're going to do this mock committee hearing today, and just an effort. We want you to know, and Barbara herself is going to give a nice little presentation here to start us off. But the committee process is pretty much the same process, whether it's city council, school boards. You know, you should all feel like you can go in front of your elected officials at whatever level and say your piece. So hopefully this will help you not only for MRTA purposes, but in your local issues and purposes, okay? So Barbara, I'll turn it over to you.
Hello. Hello. Last April, Linda Greason and I attended a seminar in Springfield called Government 101, and it was sponsored by two state representatives, Stacy Newman and Crystal Quaid. And we were given a folder like this, and inside was a handout that gave us a rundown of the legislative process, and the girls in the office have done a similar thing for you in your packet. And another handout that we were given was a sort of a do's and don'ts outline for how to behave and perform at a hearing. Now, Jim Kreider took us through the legislative process some time back, but we're going to let you have the handouts available for you to take with you. And we're going to give you the outline, which is in your packet, and I'll go over that a little bit later. In addition, when we were at this seminar, we witnessed a public hearing, a mock hearing. Well, that gave us a kernel of an idea. And so we put our heads together, and let me just tell you why this idea blossomed. It's because you, as an MRTA member, are at some point going to have to defend your position on public education, on your pension, whatever it is. And some of the venues that you might be before would be like the media, some local civic organization, local hearings, like on school boards and things like that. And with the Show Me Institute and James Schulz coming up with all of this so-called research that they're reporting, we need to be more vigilant than we have ever been. When I did my presentation called Vocal at the Local, that was what this was about, because you are a citizen of your local community, and that's where everything starts. We need to know if you are in support of or in opposition to issues that affect us as retired educators and as those that are in the current classroom. Fortunately, we do have those who are willing and able to appear at hearings. Jim Kreider is often asked to come and testify, but there are others in this room that have done the same thing. But I just want to tell you to keep the points of your arrow sharp in your quiver, because you are going to have to take aim. And our purpose today is to show you how to get prepared. And now you're in for a special treat.
Okay, we're gonna call the House Committee on Pensions to order. I see we're just like the legislature. We're starting 12 minutes late according to the schedule, and that's accurate. So we have in front of us today Representative Kreider, who will introduce to us House Bill 409. Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Jim Kreider. I'm the former representative of the 142nd Legislative District, which consists of Christian County, the fastest growing county in the state of Missouri. Mr. Chairman, you're supposed to laugh. I used to say that a lot back in the old days. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to present to you today, and members of the committee, House Bill 409. House Bill 409 deals with the public school retirement system of Missouri. It is a pension system for educators. And as a steward of taxpayers' money, this system, the way it is run currently, is totally unsustainable. Will surely be bankrupt in a few years as investment returns are predicted to be low. But more than that, the pension benefits create millionaires. Out of simple teachers. I'm having fun. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, the system is currently $8 billion in debt. And if that system goes bankrupt, the state of Missouri shouldn't have to be liable to pay these pensions. So what this bill does, it creates a new pension system, which one we think is much more fairer. It's called a defined contribution system for new hire teachers starting upon passage of this bill August 28th of 2019. A defined contribution system that allows educators to have portability, number one, meaning they get tired of teaching or they want to teach in another state, they can take their own money and they can go do that. And then they can join, they can also just keep their current contribution plan going by saving their own dollars and putting it into their own system and doing their own investing, and probably going to do better than the public school retirement system. Also, when I say fairer system, it seems to me that the new teachers are putting 14.5% of their checks into the public school retirement system, and that in effect allows the upper end, administrator end, of people making $200,000 a year to have a $200,000 pension. And it's on the backs of the new educator who, if they decide to leave, lose all their money. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I believe this is a good bill. I believe it's something that we should do in the state of Missouri. And with that, I'd be glad to answer any questions, sir.
Thank you, Representative. Is there any questions of the representative on this piece of legislation? Representative?
Where did you find your data?
My data come from two sources. the Show Me Institute, which has, no, three sources really. The Show Me Institute, which has some very qualified employees of the University of Missouri studying this issue. We have the Pew Arnold Trust, which is a think tank that spends millions on researching these kind of issues. And of course, ALEC, this is language that I have borrowed and use statewide, or that used it nationwide. ALEC is the American Legislative Exchange Council. Very good sources of information.
Did you attempt to research any sources that were not obviously anti-public?
Oh, no, ma'am. These sources are trying to help public education. Trying to provide for a better, more choice education for all our children.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Further questions of the sponsor of the legislation? Representative, please just
I
take
see
a
why-
microphone.
See why he didn't give me a mic. And don't call me when you have to be gone again, because I'm not gonna fill in for you. Sir, I'd like to know why we should fix something that ain't broke.
Well, Representative, it may not currently be broke, but as I said, they're $8 billion in debt. Investment returns are predicted to be low, and this is an unsustainable system. The future does not look bright.
We have sustained it for the last 40 years. Some of us a little older than. Why should we go into a different situation that is untried, where if we put stuff in a 401k, it's gonna disappear in about 5 to 7 years?
Well, Representative, all I can say to that is currently in the private business world, 98% of employees are in a defined contribution plan. So why should public employees be any different?
Because we have a good system. And we need to stay with it. Our social security is dwindling. Most private.
I'm all for privatizing Social Security also.
It's gone by the wayside. I
Mr.
see-
Chairman?
Go ahead.
Further questions of the
No.
sponsor of the bill? Thank you, Representative.
I have a question.
Hold on. I recognize
Thank you,
this
Representative.
representative first.
I was wondering where,
Take your mic.
the $8 billion debt, does that mean that our hardworking teachers that have paid into this for 30 or 35 years are not going to be paid?
That's what I'm saying, unsustainable. Where are they gonna find $8 billion to fully fund the system when their investment returns are going to predicted to be so poor in the next time?
It is currently for this year, $8 billion in debt.
Yeah. With 86% pre-funded, they say, so that means it's 14% underfunded, which is $8 billion.
We have $50 billion of obligations and $42 billion in assets.
Excuse me, if we're gonna go along with the way the hearings are, allow the representative, and then when there's a chance for witnesses, I request you come up and share that with everybody. Any other questions, Representative?
Question,
Representative, you're recognized.
do you have data to validate sustainability of 401Ks?
I sure do. www.showmeinstitute.com.
And we can take that to the bank.
It's a very very good organization, well funded.
And the people in there are well funded.
Yeah.
Okay, seeing no other questions of the sponsor of the bill, is there any witnesses in the audience that would like to come forth and testify in support of House Bill 409? Okay, can I have anyone in the audience that would like to come forth and test in opposition to House Bill 409? Please fill out a witness form.
That's what they do. We laugh, but that is what they do. Good afternoon. I've already filled one out. Representative, good afternoon. My name is Maria Walden. I'm the Director of Legislation and Policy with the Public School Retirement Systems in Missouri. We represent over 260,000 active, inactive retirees and beneficiaries in the state of Missouri. We have over $41 billion in assets. We are right around 85% pre-funded. We give back to the state, to our 88,000 retirees, around $2.7 billion back into the state. Our investments last year were right around 14.5%. I'd like to address some of the concerns that the representative brought up in his testimony, but first and foremost, you need to understand there's a cost statement in front of you that our actuaries prepared. House Bill 409 places a huge financial cost not only on our employers but also on our current membership. Our actuary provided you with a very detailed cost estimate. In the next 3 years, it will end up costing just our employers just under $1 billion in additional monies that will need to be put into the system to make sure that we are financially solvent. In the next, that doesn't include the amount of money that they, because it's a defined contribution plan, will be paying towards Social Security. Roughly, they will add onto their contribution cost another 6.5% or so. Our teachers also will increase their contribution rates moving forward, and the long-term financial stability of the system will be at risk. On the chart that you have in front of you, there's a projection as to that in 2043, we will actually run out of assets if this bill is passed in its current form. Representative spoke about that we are $8 billion have $8 billion in unfunded liability. And he's correct, but that also means that we have 86%, we are 86% pre-funded. So we like to use the house mortgage analogy. If you went to a bank and you said I had 86% to put down on a house, and I have a steady stream of income and a source to pay it for the next 30 years, and I will have it paid off, would you say that that's an unsustainable project? Or would the bank say, yes, I will give you the loan? We like to think that we are in great financial condition. Any plan that's over 80% funded is considered very healthy and very active. We have a plan to be pre-funded and to be 100% pre-funded. That time frame we adopted in 2011. We should be actuarially pre-funded in around 20 years. We cut off about 10 years off of that. The portability issue we get asked a lot as far as whether our system is portable. And one of the things that the representative indicated is that our members don't get to take their money with them, and that is incorrect. Every member, if they withdraw from our system, get their contribution rate along with the percentage interest that our board proposes and adopts every year. Right now, that assumed rate of interest rate is right around 1%, so they will get their contributions back plus 1%. I will take any questions.
Thank you for your testimony. I have one question. 14.5% is a great return on investment. Not all pension funds have done that great. What's the average the past year or so, if you would have?
The average is right around, we are actually median this year from the average university if you're looking at nationwide plans. It's a little bit under 14, we're a little bit over at 14.5. So it's right around 14, I think 14.3 is the number that we were told on a national level.
That's a great return on investment. Any other questions of the witness? You have a question. When there is a question from the chairman that you have questions, it is good to raise your hand. Okay.
Oh, and say, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Representative, you're recognized.
when you talk about the national average, are you averaging, are those averages, averaging defined contribution plans or defined?
No, that is merely just defined benefit plans.
Okay,
Defined contribution plans, the risk is all on the employee, and therefore that return is individually subjected. So it ebbs and flows as the investment market ebbs and flows.
thank you.
Any other questions of the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your testimony. Is there anyone else who would like to come forward and testify in support or in opposition of House Bill 409? Proceed.
Thank you, Senator Green and members of the committee. I'm testifying in opposition to House Bill 409. I'm Linda Greason with the Missouri Retired Teachers Association and School Personnel. I'm the Legislative Committee Chairwoman. MRTA has 26,000 members. House Bill 409, sponsored by Representative Jim Crider, proposes to change our defined benefit pension plan of Missouri's retired education community to a defined contribution plan. 40 years ago, I walked into a classroom of first graders at Community R6 in Ladonia, Missouri, and the furthest thing from my mind was retirement. I had a bachelor's degree in elementary education, a brand new master's degree in counselor education, and certifications as a school psychological examiner, as a learning disabilities teacher, and as an elementary music teacher. I thought I had a lifetime ahead of me to educate and make a difference in hundreds of kids' lives. And over the course of 30 years, I worked in 4 different Missouri public school districts. As you can see, time caught up with that young first grade teacher, and I believed it was time for me to step out of the classroom and make way for a young teacher with more energy and new ideas. And thank goodness, a group of teachers back in 1946 had the foresight to join together and pool their retirement savings to get higher interest rates and lower investment fees in order to have a pension for life after a career in education. Representative Crider's House Bill 409 is proposing a false security for young and new education employees. We all lived through the stock market decline in 08, 09, and people who had individual 401ks and IRAs and all sorts of retirement schemes lost half of their retirement funds. And a plan like House Bill 409 would be life-threatening and totally devastating to the very elderly members of our retirement system. Today's young educators who may select this false retirement plan will be those elderly retirees in just 40 short years. On behalf of Missouri retired teachers and school personnel, I respectfully request that you vote no on this House Bill 409 in order to continue to provide protection and security for Missouri's education retirees. Thank you for serving the citizens of Missouri and especially the people of your district who believed in you and had faith in you when they sent you here. Thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. Ladonia, Missouri, Rawls County.
Not Rawls County, Audrain County.
Audrain County, okay. Well, we want to thank you for your 4 years of service as well. Is there any questions of the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your travels and coming forward today.
Thank you.
Do we have any other witnesses that would like to come forth and testify in support or in opposition? You've been raising your hand, citizen. Did you want to come forth and testify against it? Please state your name and fill out a witness form.
Witness form submitted.
Thank you.
Senator Green, thank you for the opportunity to testify today. I'm Mike Sturley. I represent Madison County retired teachers and it's a subordinate unit to the Missouri Retired Teachers Association. And I would like to speak up in opposition to Representative Kreider's bill 409. The teachers that I have served with and have seen supported by the PSRS system have had the opportunity to contribute in their youth, as he mentions, that in their youth they supported the retirement of teachers going out of the system. Some of them going out as superintendents, some of them going out as teachers, and that's the way it works. When you're young, you chip in, and during your career, you build yourself up to the top of the profession. And those other people are taking their turns, their opportunities to work their way through the systems. This is a fair system. It's been accused of not being fair. However, when I went into retirement, I had the opportunity to retire with my top 3 years as a sheet to retire from. And I think that's eminently fair. I had the opportunity to go into retirement and over time draw what teachers are drawing, which will eventually become 6 times what they put into the system. Teachers that go into 401k plans, and I don't see any of them brought here by Mr. Kreider to testify on behalf of 401k. I would suggest that we give him an opportunity to bring 401k retired teachers. I have a brother-in-law in Wyoming that is one. He's taught for 40 years, he's 65 years old, and he's not retired yet. And he's not sure that he will. This plan is not a good plan for teachers. I understand that government struggles with pension plans. We have example after example of government pension plans that have presented difficulty and challenges for their governments. We have military pensioners that are having checks drawn on current year general revenue. Not a good plan. 401ks based on what the personal individual can build, not a good plan. This is a PSRS system that we currently have, the best in the country, and we need to keep it going. Madison County, one of the poorest counties in the state, draws this last year $6.44 million from the PSRS system into Madison County on 240 retirees. That in Madison County, that averages a $28,000 pension, which in Madison County is a good pension.
Okay. Well, we want to thank you for your travels and giving your opinion. Is there any questions of the witness? Seeing none, thank you for your time and your input.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay, seeing no other witnesses that have come up to testify, we're going to close the hearing on House Bill 409. At this time, we are going to take a motion, even though an executive session is not listed on the notice. I see it happen all the time. They still do have executive sessions on bills, so we are going to go under the way they do it. Do I have a motion to vote out, do pass House Bill 409? Do I have a motion? You can make the motion and then vote against it. Yes, you can, Representative. A motion's been
Or
made.
Just let it ride and it never goes anywhere.
That's a very smart Way to go about it. There's been a motion made and seconded for House Bill 409 to be voted out, do pass. Representative Cochran?
No.
Representative Kaufman? Representative Osborne? Representative Seeley?
No.
Representative Riddle?
No.
Representative Peters? Representative Greason?
No.
Representative Scott?
No.
Representative Vincent?
No.
You were all supposed to be up here. Representative Young?
No.
Representative McDaniel?
No.
Representative Cook? Representative Ward?
No.
And Representative Roan. By your votes of 0 for, 9 against, you have defeated the motion to vote out due pass.